What up, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Inner House Podcast. I'm your host. I'm joined by my co-host, who's also my brother, obviously. You already know.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'? So, before we get started, please make sure to go like, subscribe, comment, turn on bell notifications, do all the regular YouTube stuff. Today, we have a guest who is very special. She was kind enough to fill in while I had a baby on the way, and when she was born. Some say she was a better co-host. That's still up for debate. I don't agree. Anyways, please welcome Gabriela Palafox.
What's up?
What's up, babe?
Hey.
Long time no see.
I know. It's been a while.
I know. I think I saw you maybe like 20 minutes ago.
We actually started this podcast without Pablo earlier.
Yeah.
Pablo was late to the shoot today, so we had to start it without him.
Yeah, just things happen, bro. AKA
you do have a baby.
Yeah.
You do have a baby.
Yeah, I'm surprised whenever we have like a guest like that's outside the dress from Lafayette that I'm able to make it on time. To be honest,
Yeah.
Like so much things go on.
I think like I've taken care of Ale, but like today you guys couldn't just leave her with me because I'm here.
Oh yeah, that's facts. Yeah, and normally I start to leave like if we shoot at 1. At around 11:45, I slowly start to pack, so I can have enough time to get here, even though I live like right there.
It's so far of a track.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get into it.
It feels weird.
Why?
Because we have headphones. There's a different mic.
It's probably cool. Oh, that's your first time, right?
Yeah.
But it's your first time like actually like hearing it through yourself. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, it feels like I'm like actively listening to the podcast, not like
I know,
recording.
right? It's kind of cool. But do you like it, or do you think it's kind of weird?
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But Pablo mentioned that you were co-host, or you stepped in for a little.
Yeah,
I think we might have talked about it when it was just us two, but we haven't talked about it with Pablo in front of us. How was that whole experience for you, filling in for Pablo? And do you have any words for Pablo?
Thanks for coming back. I mean, at first, like, I was, like, kind of like, I'm here, whatever, just trying to keep it going, because didn't want you guys to be like, well, baby, no more podcasts. Or he could have done it by himself somehow. That would have been interesting.
That would have been very weird.
Pablo knows how that would have gone from the other day.
It would have been like 4 hours to cut it down to 1 hour.
Literally. I don't know. I got into it towards the end a lot. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, like, we went to the gym before this, and he's like, you ready for the podcast today? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not in that mindset anymore. Like, it's like, it felt like it was like a year ago or something. Like, I just blocked it out.
Dang, was it that bad?
Public speaking is not my thing.
I mean, technically, this isn't really public speaking, though.
You're just talking to us right now.
Yeah. You talk to him all the time.
But then it goes on the internet, and then everybody listens to me.
Yeah. But if you just pretend that it doesn't go out on the internet, did it really go out on the internet?
That's what I do sometimes.
Perception is reality.
But a lot of your aunts did tell me that they watched it a lot more when you became the
I mean, my whole family watches regardless, but yeah.
They're more inclined to watching because you were 100% on the episode.
Yeah, like this episode's going to get views because I'm on.
I mean, you're not wrong, dude. Yeah, which is fine. That's normal, Like I had this guy at work, Santino, shout out. He's the one that did our music for the beginning, mm-hmm. our intro music, and he told me that he didn't really watch as much or as long once I left for that time.
Oh, so the opposite?
Yeah, but that's only because he knows me. He doesn't know you or Güero,
So he's like, what's going on with Pablo?
Yeah, exactly. Or it's a familiar face on the podcast. So now that I'm back on, I haven't asked him if he started watching, but I'm sure he is back to listening a little bit more.
Well, since you're on the podcast and Gaby's on the podcast, what's up, Santino, and hello, Gaby's family.
And stick around to the end where Gaby and I are going to fight to see who the better co-host was.
Yeah, they're going to do an arm wrestling competition right here. So,
or whoever nutmegs the other person first wins.
Okay, then
you're done.
I'm good, bro. I've been practicing. I'm good.
It's okay. I'll even carry Vale, and we'll do it together.
Oh,
her first time.
That's shitty. That's shitty.
But some things have changed from the last time you were on the podcast, as far as like what you want to do with your career goals.
No, that's still up in the air.
But did we talk about it?
No, I don't think I've ever publicly announced it.
Did you want to talk about it?
I mean, I'm still kind of in limbo because I just keep moving, so I keep.
Yeah, it's okay. You do you.
Because I was like, I was all for respiratory therapy, and I was like, yeah, 2 years in and out, be done, and then I'll get to work. But now I'm like, I don't know, nursing seems more my style.
Okay.
I don't know if it's not like I don't like respiratory therapy, because regardless of what route I go, I can my end goal is to end up back in cardiopulmonary rehab, and so in either route I could end up there. So I just don't know. It's like, do I want to just become an RN for 2 years, or do I want to get my RN and then see how that goes, and then still have another 16 to 24 months to get my BSN?
But if your end goal is to be in cardiopulmonary rehab, then wouldn't becoming an RN kind of like deviate for a little while, and you'll end up coming back?
So even as a RT, I could work in different areas.
What's
like
RT?
Respiratory therapy.
Okay.
So I could either work in the hospital, inpatient, outpatient, in a pharmacy. I could work in home health care. I could do all these things just like I would as a nurse. So I could still deviate, but I just don't. I don't know.
Okay. I guess just when I just think of a RN or like a nurse, it's
Hospital based.
Yeah, exactly. In the hospital, kind of working ER type situations. But I guess there's a bunch of different rooms.
Yeah, because it's like you see them at like your pediatrician's office. Like
oh, you're right. Yeah.
They work there, and I think I'd like to work
peds.
with babies, but I feel like it's really hard to get into that. Like when I initially started school, RN was my route.
That's a freshman.
I realized that was my route, but then I got scared because of how competitive it was. So I was like, "There's no way," and I just gave up. And I was like, took like an easier route in a sense, easier to me. And then, not that I don't love what I do, but I'm just kind of stuck. Like, I can do this or that. It's like I can either do personal training, which I don't. I figured out early on that that's not what I wanted to do, even though I thought I did. Or where I'm in now, like in a clinical setting, and I like the clinical setting of it.
Okay.
Because at your job, there's not really any room to.
There's no advancement. Like I was hired on to the highest position I could go, like for my.
With the degree you had? Oh, that's interesting. So is that like across the board? Oh.
Because like right now we have some coworkers trying to create like a tiered system, like to advance in our careers, but we have to, since there's 3 sites, us, south and east, like we all have like the same policies, same like everything.
Right,
so
sense.
Everybody has to be on board, and so far nobody's on board. Everybody's like, well, we do all the same thing. It's like, exactly, but let's change it up so that we have room to grow. You can, because eventually you get like redlined. So like once you meet a certain, like say like 21 something is the max that they'll pay you for this position. With this tiered system, we could change that so that people can still move up, and it just requires them like continue education. It's like there's nothing wrong with that, because like I came in, they're still doing like static stretching, and I'm like
like before actual exercise.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, we shouldn't really be doing static stretching. And, like, I noticed that on my internship, and I was, like, so confused. And I was like, but I don't want to say anything. I'm like, well, they're the professionals, right?
Right. Like, oh, that's interesting.
So it's like they were still living 10 years before and, like, what they learned in school. And it's, like, that's the thing. Like, things are constantly evolving and everything. So, like...
And when there's no improvement, like, in the job that offers, there's no reason to, like, go back into the books and, like, learn to see if anything's changed. You're just like, oh, I learned it this way, so we're just going to keep doing it this way.
And some people are hard-headed. Like, everybody's just comfortable in their ways. And then I get that. Like, I hate change. Like, but sometimes it's needed to, like, advance.
Right, especially in a field where there's always new things coming out, you know, like the medical field.
Yeah.
Like, back then, like... in your example with the static stretching, everyone's, oh, you have to stretch beforehand, but it's like, yes, you do, but there's a different like dynamic now.
Yes.
Where you have to like move through the motions in a slower pace to get to the actual motions you want to do.
Yeah, like I was talking to some patients when I explained like home exercise, and I'm like, so yeah, we don't want you to stretch, like, and I have like crossed out like stretching, because our brochures still say static stretch, warm up, get on a machine. It's like, no. So we, like, I always white out stuff, and they're like, well, what was there? I'm like, well, it said stretching, but we don't want you to necessarily do static stretching. He's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm like, no. They're like, well, I've always do that. And I'm like, still have patients that were like very like older. They're like, no, I have to stretch before I get stiff. It's like, well, you don't have to stretch. You just have to warm up. Mm-hmm. So now we have them warm up on machines versus at a lighter intensity, lighter pace if they're walking. So, and then work them their way up to their working load. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of straight away to what I do, what I wanted to do to what I do. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd love to stay in the position I'm in, but at the same time, I feel like I'm gonna be wanting more.
Yeah, especially if you got hired on already at the highest you can go. I can see how very quickly you're like, you know what, you need more out of it.
Like, for a while, I was like, for a couple months, I was like, wow, this is nice, it's comfortable, and nothing's going to change. But I'm like, oh, nothing's going to change. I'm doing this for the rest of my life.
Immediately, you're like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really thought Otis was here, and I saw your
No,
foot.
sorry, I just extended my foot out.
I was like...
Yeah, we had PTSD.
She's like, oh, no, he's going to start barking soon.
Like, my feetsies.
Yeah. So, what, like, your way to get promoted next would be to get a master's or whatever the degree you have now?
I could get a change in title. Like, I can go back for my exercise physiologist degree, or get, like, a certification, like CEP, which is clinical exercise physiologist.
Oh, okay.
But then there's, like, a master's program to become an EP, so, which we have one in our department, but it's like, okay, that was...
And what is EP?
Exercise physiologist,
okay.
sorry.
Sorry, I'm not very well rounded with the
only
terms.
reason I know is because Gaby talks about it all the time.
Okay.
So I would be in your boat if nobody talked to me about it.
Yeah.
But with, like I said, I started out in nursing, and I really was, like, set on, like, neonatal nursing. So with RT, I thought I'll do peds, but I'm like, I don't know, like, intubating little babies. And just with, like, RT, I don't feel like I'll get that patient interaction that I'm, like, wanting. It's like, I'm going to intubate them and then maybe extubate them and see how they're feeling afterwards. But it's like, how far does that go?
Right.
So it's like, nursing, I can, like, see them on, but inpatient is still, like, a couple days, a day maybe, and then they're out. Or if I wanted something more fast-paced, the ER, so.
The ER is kind of crazy, though.
Yeah. A lot of adrenaline for sure.
Yeah, you'd see a lot of stuff. I've heard not from people because I don't know anybody that works in the ER, but I've heard stories from people that work in the ER that, like, it changed their life, and, like, sometimes either in a bad way or sometimes either in a good way, but mostly in a bad way. And,
like, we were talking to Andy and, like, how he was there for a while and just saw some stuff. He's like, no. And the medical field's not for everybody. Like, you definitely have to put, like, this kind of, like, front, because, like, you want to care for them, but then not too much to where, like, it's gonna, you're like, okay, I just gotta push it off, like.
Yeah, because if you're in the medical field, you kind of have to provide a superficial care. Like, obviously, you're a caregiver to them, but you can't care too much because if something happens to them, like, you can't really get too emotional because at the end of the day, you're gonna be making some hard decisions that can't be
emotion based.
Yeah, emotion based.
Yeah. The only experience I have with the ER is Grey's Anatomy.
So, you're a doctor basically now.
Yeah, dude. Essentially, man. All I know is wow, I forgot. It's okay. I was gonna say all I know about surgery is that they use 10 blades a lot.
They use what?
10 blades. Because in the show they'd always be like as soon as they're about to do something, they're like 10 blade. For everything, they'd be like 10 blade.
Is that just a knife that, like, cuts them open?
I think so.
Oh.
I don't work in surgery.
That's true.
I don't cut people open. I just poke their fingers for their sugars. That's about as far as I go.
Okay. Nice.
But I'm excited for you to go back into nursing because I know, like, before, or your original thing was to go back into nursing in the first place.
Yeah.
And you kind of veered off from me, like you said, but I think, like, you've always wanted to do nursing, and every time you talk to me about it, and Pablo can probably tell too, every time you talk about it, you're, like, really passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm just scared because it's like, I didn't do so great in anatomy my first time around, but I was also 18 and didn't know how to study, and it was during my second semester of my first year, so I'm like,
got it.
I'm just going to pass as best as I can. Like, I understood the material, and, like, I took orthopedic anatomy next, and I did so great. Like, I was like, okay, this is basically the same thing as anatomy, just, like, I've already learned all this, so now I know. And I'm just not a good test taker.
So would you have to redo anatomy?
I don't know. So I need to really meet with like a counselor, talk my like, see what my options are. Because it's like, will I get direct admit since I have all the prereqs? Or since my prereqs are now like 6 years old, do I have to redo them?
6 years old?
My freshman year was 6 years ago.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You graduated, what, 2 years ago? 2.5?
Almost 2.
Whoa.
I can't believe it.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was thinking about, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years, they probably would have you take a lot of classes again.
Especially because I, like, ended with, like, a C, and it's like, but then it's like, are they going to take the average of those? Because then, like, even if I get an A++ and a C, that's going to be, like, a B.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think you would do great, though. Because I feel like, especially your second year and my first year at IEPY, when we first lived together, our living situation, we were trying to get used to living with each other. So, and I wouldn't do any school. I'd be playing video games all the time.
Hell
So that wouldn't help you with your studying.
No.
But I feel like you would do a lot better now if you had to retake any classes, because we've got a good system down to where if you're doing your thing, I'll just leave you alone. And if I'm doing my thing, you like just leave me alone.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's easier as you get older, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like going back.
I don't know. I'm just, a part of me doesn't want to go back. So I'm like, the thought of it going back to, like, all that time and commitment. And it's like, I like making money.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. How long would the schooling be? Another 4 years?
Give or take. If I like, my aunt, she works just as an RN through Ivy Tech, and she makes a lot of money. So it's like, it's like, I'm living just fine and I'm comfortable where I'm at, but it's like, would it limit me doing what I want to do? So I guess that would be the ultimate factor, whether I'm going to continue on to get my BSN in art from BRN, maybe. I don't know. But I think there's a pay difference.
Difference?
Pay differential?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. From RN to BSN.
Okay.
RN. But, like, I have friends that, like, I was on track with them to be nurses, and then I've seen that they put in the time, they put in the work, and, like, they're working in their, like, fields, and I'm like, dang, I wish I would have just stuck it out with them. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you go back, there's no shame in it, you know?
Right.
Like, you go do your thing, and then now you're at least in the field that you enjoy. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming probably has more growth potential than where you're at now.
Because even, like my director is an RN. Like, there's still ways to grow.
Oh,
like, but it depends if I'm, like, patient focused or if I want to, I guess in a way, like, power hungry. Like, I can climb up the ladder still. Is
there, like, any programs where you work to where they could do, like, tuition reimbursement or something like that?
Yes, but I have to work, like, a certain amount of hours, and then, like, clinicals are during the day. My shifts are during the day, so it's, like, unless I switch, like, roles. And because I consider just even doing, like, patient care tech on the weekends or during the nights.
Okay.
Just so I can get a feel for, like, nursing. I wouldn't be able to do as much as a nurse can because I wouldn't be able to give meds and stuff. But, like, right. I'd get that, like, interaction in a sense, like, I'm going to be wiping butts. I'm going to be doing this. So it's like, and I do that as an RN. So it's like, will I get tired of it as that?
So you would get at least a feel for the field before you commit to that field.
Yeah. So it's like, but then, like, I don't know how that works, like, with my position now, if I have to go outside to a different network or if I can work in the same network, but 2 different cost centers. Because it's like you clock in and you're assigned a specific, like, cost center, and then that cost center has, like, amount of people under them.
Right.
So.
Right.
That'd be really weird. It's like, oh, let me grab this badge. Oh, wrong badge.
That would be really strange. Yeah. You probably walk around with 2 badges.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
But yeah, I don't know. Still
up in the air.
Still up in the air.
How long have you been kind of battling back and forth with that?
Just recently, because I was really dead set on RT up until, like, maybe, like, 3 months ago. Then I was like, I don't know. Because then, like, just working in my field, like, I work I feel like I can't do enough for my patients because I'm so limited in my scope of practice to what I can and cannot do.
Okay.
Like medicines, I can talk with them, but I can't like do anything with them. Like I'm like, I can't help you with your meds. I can't do this. I can't do that. But it's like,
That's because you like legally can't do it, right?
yeah, and I legally can't like if somebody's struggling with their oxygen, but they've only have an order to titrate up to 2, then I can't increase it to help them breathe because I'm not licensed.
And, like, you don't have that right, though.
I don't have that legally. Don't have the power to do it.
Mm.
It's more of a legal reason than anything. I could
Right.
physically do it, of course.
Right,
like,
right. But then if something were to happen or even not happen, they found out you did it,
Mm-hmm.
it'd come back on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd possibly like lose your job or like something like that.
Yeah, or like sued or some crazy thing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The medical field's nuts.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was in high school, I thought I wanted to do in the medical field.
What
And,
did you want to do?
I don't know. To be honest, I wanted to be like a trauma, like EMT type of person.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got called into the military office, the recruiter's office, into Marines, I told him, he's like, so what would you want to do here? I'm like, well, I really like helping people. I'm like, I would love to be a medic. And then he just kind of laughed in my face. And then I was like, what? And he's like, we don't have medics, man. He's like, if you want to do that, you can go over to the Navy. And I was like, okay. And then he like slowly like brainwashed me into joining and getting another job in there. But I think if I would have gone to the Navy and done all that stuff to learn how to be a medic,
You wouldn't have survived.
nah, it just, especially at that age, it's too, I'm like, I see somebody bleeding. How am I going to diagnose what's wrong and like
Yeah.
figure it out? I'm like, nah, it's way too, like the human body is too malleable,
Yeah.
in my opinion, to like, so it wasn't for me, which is good that I realized that, because I would have been a shitty doctor or a shitty nurse or something, you know?
Yeah. I thought about EMT school, like, EMT, is that it, right?
Yeah, emergency
Emergency.
medical technician.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
we have a
like-
friend that's going to school for EMT. Jesus.
I thought
our
he already
neighbor?
finished. And then
Oh yeah. He
Lindsay
is
did
an
too.
EMT actually.
He's gonna be a firefighter?
I don't know
he
if he's
wanted
still.
to.
Oh, you know Jesus.
Yeah, I know Jesus.
Chucho. I don't know if he's still going to firefighting, but last time I saw him, he was like either already an EMT or like literally almost there.
Well, I think to be a firefighter, you have to be an EMT
Mhm.
Okay.
because you're a first responder.
Yeah.
Because I looked into it like a couple months back to be a firefighter, and I saw that EMT was like
A
a requirement. Yeah, dude. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, because I
So-
watched the spin-off show that off of Grace. It's called Station 19. So, and it's about the firefighters of Seattle, and they're
that's
like
cool.
talking about how they're all EMTs, and it blew my mind. I was like, I never realized that firefighters are EMTs.
EMTs, yeah. Because you assume they just go and like pull people out of buildings and just like
Yeah.
like water hose fires, but no,
Water
like
hose
they get called for like anything
Mm-hmm.
as a first responder.
Yeah, because they have like an aid car that I always thought like was like from the hospital, but no, it's them, and then they take them to the emergency room too sometimes. So I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, they almost serve like as a secondary ambulance at times.
Yeah, and I'm
Because
like,
they usually get there first, right? Or I guess whoever gets there first.
I guess
at
depends on the
least.
situation. Like if I think like
I
if
guess,
it's
like,
like
if
there's a fire
yeah.
and somebody's trapped, then they're gonna go too.
And they just have the equipment just to like, since they're the first ones there, they can provide aid.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. But I want to talk about how all of our 2023 has gone so far. It's January. I don't have my watch.
Bro, you look like this and there's no watch on
Yeah. It's January 24th as of recording.
Dang, already?
Almost February.
Bro, the year's almost over.
Basically, man. It's almost February. I wanted to talk about how your 2023 is going so far. As far as like what you thought you wanted to be, or where you thought you wanted to be, as far as like the goals that you set for yourself, and just how it's going.
I mean, I'm chilling. I mean, I've been in the workforce for about 2 years now, just like strictly work. So it's like I really don't. Every day just feels like the same,
Right.
but not the same at the same time. So it's like, I don't know. I guess the same as it's been. I haven't done anything crazy besides contemplate what I want to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
But midlife crisis. Literally almost midlife.
Yeah, it's the quarter life crisis. Yeah, that I went through when I was 25, and I feel like all you guys are gonna go through at 25.
At what? Just 3 weeks away from my 25th. So.
Oh yeah, February 17th is your birthday.
Bleep.
They can look at your Facebook profile and find out your birthday's on February 17th.
That's true.
Yeah, how about you, Pablo? How's your...
Good. The baby's better, which is nice for me. That was like the main thing, is getting more sleep. And yeah, I mean, I've been slowly eating better. I told him last night where whenever I try to cut, I always go like really fast. So now I'm just taking the whole year to do it.
Yeah.
Really slow, steady progress. So I'm just kind of chilling with that. And school started, and it's like ramping up really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like the program I'm in, it's called ICOR at the Clay School of Business. And you get grouped up, and that group is essentially what you do all your schoolwork with for the whole semester. So that group that you have can either make it or break it. Mm. And you know that Myers-Briggs tests that some college classes have you do?
It's like a personality test?
Yes, and depending on how you answer questions, you get like a 4-letter code, right?
Mm-hmm.
And based on that code, they group you with other people. And I have always got I as introvert, and this last time I did, I got E for extrovert. Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently I'm extroverted now.
The podcast changed.
Yeah.
Let's go. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so now like I got in my group, and everyone is introverted except for me.
Oh.
Supposedly. And sometimes I can tell, because whenever we're like working on stuff, everyone's just kind of like quiet, and like no one's really saying something, and then I'll bring something up, and then everyone kind of starts talking again. And then I wanted Valentin in my group because he got I, and he's the only introvert in his group. Everybody else in his group is extroverted.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure there's like 50-50 on others. And then we were talking in my group, and there's one person for every major. Like I'm marketing, somebody's management, somebody's accounting, somebody's finance and operations and logistics and all that stuff.
So they're strategically placing you guys?
Yeah. They do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I like my group so far. I feel like we are going to work well together. And yeah, and last night was the first night that Vada slept almost 12 hours, bro.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, she went down at like 10:30, and she didn't wake up until like 10:15.
Did you guys
roughly
wake up and like, are you alive?
Well, no, because she woke up at 8. Like she was just like super fussy, and Karen woke me up, and I was like, okay, I got her. I'm like, it's 8, like whatever. And I rolled her into the living room, and I sat down. I'm like, let me just wait before I pick her up, see what happens. Because normally if she's awake, she's got her eyes wide open and she's fussy. But her eyes are still closed. So I just let her chill. Let her do her thing. And she, like, fussed around for, like, 30 minutes or so. And she went back to bed for, like, another 2 hours.
Nice. How'd that feel?
It was great. During that 2 hours of downtime, I was working on homework for the week and just make sure my school stuff was caught up. And it was super nice. I'm not going to lie.
I bet, dude.
Yeah. But who knows? She gives a 12-hour tomorrow. She'll wake up at like two times in the night. Super sporadic.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
Pretty good. I've as far as like the gym goes and my gym goals, I've been pretty consistent about going to the gym. Especially when like sometimes Gaby doesn't go, I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the gym. Because there'll be times where she doesn't go and then I just don't end up going. But this time I've been going.
Hey, I got us to go today.
That's true. I did not want to go today, but
Nice.
she got us to go today. And it was legs, so I didn't want to do legs. Yes, I almost skipped legs. But Gaby was like, I'm going to call you out if you don't do legs today.
Ooh, like on the pod?
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I got to go.
Nice.
But it's been pretty good. I'm super ahead as far as like recording content for my YouTube channel. So like, I like planning ahead, especially if I get a chance to go out and record on one day. I'll make sure to record 2 or 3 videos that same day. Because, I mean, we're supposed to get a snowstorm tonight, so there's only a limited amount of days that I can record outside.
Yeah.
But it's nice to also change up my content a little, because, like, Pablo and I did that podcast video. I think it might come out the same week this video's coming out. But it's nice to change it up a little as far as, like, going outside of soccer content. But also my Instagram has gotten like I got like an extra 120 followers.
Wow.
Like
Oh,
that,
nice.
With all the videos you've been posting?
And especially the video I posted for Argentina winning the World Cup. That video has 70,000 views and it's got like 7,000 to 8,000 likes.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So that video itself gave me like decent amount of followers.
Yeah. Well, what I like is that, like, especially the reel that you posted, like your last two ones, where like you went to kick the soccer ball and like that lightning hit, and then it, like, you know, like that was nice, and that's like a unique style to you, because I don't think I've seen that, because I follow a lot of soccer content, like free kicks and stuff like that, and for the most part it's all pretty repetitive. It just depends on the person that's doing it.
That's the thing. Like I was looking at all of the shorts that I have, and I'm like, dude, this is literally just me kicking a ball. How do I like make this more fun? And I found like animations that I downloaded, and I just put it on there. Like whenever the ball hit the post, I put like a boom, or like I put lightning, and then added lightning noises to the ball. It was very fun.
It works. It's a unique style, and I think you're slowly finding your style in that sense. But oh, sorry, you were gonna say something?
Good.
Okay. So talking about his YouTube stuff, and I have a couple questions that I have for you. One of them is, I think you're a very great personality on his YouTube channel.
He said like every time he knows you're gonna be on the video, it's gonna smack.
Bro, like I watch all his videos regardless, but when I see that you're on, I almost instantly click, because
Put you on the thumbnail next.
because I think it's so funny watching when you first did videos with him, when you guys were at the other apartments. You weren't very like expressive and not really yourself. Like you just kind of did whatever. But now there's a lot of your personality that comes out in the videos, and it's so great. Like it's a really good addition because it flows really well with his.
I just think becoming more comfortable behind the camera, just with recording on the podcast with you guys occasionally, or him just like, it was just all new, and I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. So it's like, I'm just gonna like be in the corner here and just not say anything. But I'm just like, whatever. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like,
yeah,
it's not gonna hurt me.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, see that's the like the beauty of it, especially because Pablo kind of told me the other day that we were recording an episode for my channel, or episode of video. Like he was like, dude, this is like so chill because I'm just here to like sit down and like say stuff and record, and then I'll leave. And like I'm over here like, oh, but should I say this? Should I do that?
Yeah. Which is funny because today when I text you, I'm like, because I thought I was gonna intro today's episode, so that's why I messaged you to like double make sure. And then I started stressing about, all right, how am I gonna intro it? And I was thinking, and I kind of messed it up on the intro. I want to do a little different, but it's fine. And yeah, I thought back to a couple of days ago when we recorded that video, and I was just here, but I was just like adding stuff. I was like fly. I was like, dude, this is so easy.
Be on the other side. I was like that with Vale. Like, oh my gosh, just stop, just go.
Oh yeah, on the other side. But I do definitely agree with Pablo about like in the soccer videos, you lighten it up a little more, because I feel like sometimes I'm a little too caught up in my head and tense about how I want to do the video, and then you just like say some goofy ass shit or like do something really random, and it just works.
Yeah, you remind me a lot of a penguin.
What? Why a penguin?
Because especially right now that it's cold outside, you have your hat like this, like right down the middle of your eyes.
Yeah, I don't know why she wears them like that. Like in the video, she's like, "Hey guys."
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I don't know. Like
It's
I missed that
because I
shot.
had the the hoodie up, and so it pushed it down, and I just didn't move it.
And then when you walk around, you don't bend your elbows.
I'm gonna be so conscious about that.
Yeah, you're like walking and you're jumping, your arms are straight like this. It's funny.
I never noticed that. That's funny.
Yeah, well, that's just an observation I made about you being on his channels on his channel and getting more comfortable behind the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You can go.
No, you go.
You'll forget. I won't.
No, I literally wrote
Okay.
it down.
Which is funny too, like or not funny, but like seeing your progression throughout like recording with me is cool, because like literally before we started this podcast and I ordered the new wire for the headphones, she's like, oh cool, so like I can stream with you now. like for like my gaming channel. And I'm like, yeah, you can. She's like, oh, I can be on your gaming channel. So like,
bro, what are you gonna play?
Mario Kart or something? I don't know.
Oh, that'd be so
fun.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think Gaby beat you on Mario Kart, no?
Nah, bro, not at all. No.
I remember her being good at the game.
No chance.
I always think they're coming in here.
Yeah, our
the
doors are
so
very close to other apartments, so whenever they open them and close them, it sounds like they're trying to get into our apartment.
You guys ready to fight?
Yeah. I thought it was Karen. Like, got it in the building. I was like, is everything okay?
Oh. No, she's good. She said she was going to try and gather up Vale and the dog for a walk.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go, but... Yeah. But another question I had is, we had somebody recommend this question to us, and we kind of answered it on a previous podcast. But I think you're a good person to ask because you have had a good friendship with Lupe, who has been a previous guest on the podcast. Check out that episode. And I wanted to ask what makes a good friend, or what you look for in a good friendship, and like how have you and Lupe been able to stay friends since literally elementary school?
Brutal honesty and fights. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess just like being girls, like we get over head over heels over something. Like, oh, I'm too invested in my relationship with Widow when I was younger. It's like, yeah, probably could have spent more time with friends too, but it's like, you know, when you get in a relationship, that's what you do. Like, it sucks. Like, I don't know anybody that's found like the good balance. So if you do have a good balance, write a book. Oh,
that's a good idea.
But like for a while, I was like, she didn't like Weddle for the longest time. Like, she's like, he's just taking you away from me and blah, blah, blah.
She hated her own nephew.
Yeah. Sorry to put it out there, Lupe. But I don't know. Just being real, going through things together, like, through the good, through the bad. Even till this day, like, there's still things that we still are learning about each other. Like, like, the other day I was getting some stuff together for her to make her, like, a care package. And I was like, you know, I don't really know, like, her favorite candy anymore like I used to. I'm like, I wonder if this is still her favorite drink. And it's like, I know, like, the important stuff, but the small things aren't there anymore just because, like, we're so far apart. Yeah. But it's like, I know a couple of the things. I know she likes sweets because she's a big sweets person, but it's like, is her favorite? I don't remember. And it's like, you go down, I went down to a downward spiral when I was like, it'll be okay. Just get her whatever.
She's like, should we get her this? And I'm like, babe, you can't go wrong with Hershey's. Like, just get her Hershey's. And then she got her favorite chocolate.
I was like, but this is good.
Which one did you get?
The Lindor chocolate.
Ooh, those are good.
Those are really good.
I mean, they're just rich. And I'm like, you can't go wrong with those.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I ended up going back to Walmart like the next day and got her Hershey's.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
But nice. I don't know, just like being real with your friends, like telling them like the hard truth even when you don't want to hear it. Like, you'll be mad at them, but at the end of the day, like, that's who's gonna be there for you.
Yeah, if they're mature enough to be like, damn, I was wrong, and be like, you know what, I'm sorry, and like, we cool now, like, and then you guys make up, and then you guys move on, and through that you guys get stronger as friends. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because we had like fallouts of plenty of times. Like, we went a while without each other, like in our, like, having her in my life, and then vice versa.
It was like almost a year or a couple of years, right?
Yeah, and that was rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I would still like stalk her in a way, and like you would. The conversations we had, she did the same. And like the thing that like broke my heart like more than like any heartbreak was like at your wedding. Like, she was there and we weren't friends at the time, and she came up to Weddle right next to, like, we were standing next to each other, and she's like, hey, and gave him a hug and just completely ignored me. And that was like, my heart like broke. Like, I still want to cry. And I was like, oh, so it's like that, okay?
And then you grab her hair, pull it down.
The drama was real.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But like, we talked about it, like, and like going back, she's like, yeah, like, that was really hard. I was like, it's a really bitchy move. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it is.
But I was like, I mean, now like we're best friends. Like, even now, like, we don't have to talk every day. Like, I feel like we'll Snapchat more often than like have actual conversations. But like, when there's something going on, we'll text each other. So it's like, having those intimate conversations and like hanging out when we can, like having that long distance friend, even though she's not that far. But
right, because you guys have gone up to visit them, like her baby and her man, just to hang out and have like a date night.
Yeah, and I babysat her son. She said I could say his name, Romy, on Friday. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That
He's
little
like,
tank. He's so so sturdy.
He's like the calmest child you'll ever meet.
Oh, that must be nice.
How old is he now?
He's
just over a year, no?
just over a year.
Okay.
So they're 12, 14, 15 months, give or take.
He's really cute, but he is a pretty heavy baby.
I mean,
Yeah.
his weight is pretty distributed because he's kind of also really tall for his age, I think.
Oh, okay.
I feel like he might be as tall as, like, Lupa's brother.
Which
Gerardo?
one? Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Well, I didn't know if you
I'm
wanted
like,
to say his name. But
He's a 1-year-old baby already, almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah. She only has one brother, right? You're talking
Yeah.
about like at the age that he was.
no, I meant like in general, like once like Romy's older, that he'll be as tall as
Okay.
him.
Oh, I thought you meant like at this moment he was almost as tall as him.
No, I didn't know him at that point. We weren't even a thought because they're 7 years apart.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I just wanted to ask that because you guys have been friends since like 7, 8 years old, something like that?
Kindergarten. So even before that.
So like 5.
5,
Whoa.
6.
It's a long
And
time.
the
That's
crazy
bro.
part is, like, I don't know if you listen back, but, like, my grandma and her parents were neighbors in Chicago, and they lived in Chicago,
I did
like,
listen to that part.
years back. And then, you know, suddenly we're in kindergarten, and I was like, hey, there's a girl that looks like me. And I was like, she's my friend.
Yeah.
And then,
It's about as long as Pablo and I have been friends. Probably kindergarten.
you guys,
What?
because you didn't get along before that.
Because I didn't remember anything before kindergarten.
Shit, I don't remember anything before pretty much like, I think maybe like first or second grade.
I don't even know the timestamps in my mind. I just know like this happened, but I don't know how old I was.
Yeah. Well, no, dude, because when we were like middle school, like that was like the worst. Where like I threw you through the wall.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah.
you punched a hole through the glass. And
That's
broke
when
the glass.
that's
and
when I
yeah.
had my anger issues. That was some pretty bad times. But I don't have anger issues anymore.
No.
I take medication. I'm just kidding.
they all left when you shaved your head.
Yeah, honestly, they were all on my head. But so you took care of Romy that one night when you went over to Lafayette. But that night you also started or went to a book club
bro,
for the first time.
good. Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, I almost left you hanging.
I know.
I thought about it. I really did.
But I was really surprised that you told me that you were going to join or not surprised, but I was excited that you were going to join a book club because you've been reading like consistently for the past year or so. How was the book club?
I mean, it was fun. Like, we all are new to a book club. We don't know what a book club has or what to do in a book club. So, like, yeah, we talked about the book, but it's like, what next, you know? Because we read halfway through, and then we stopped there. Because they're like, hey, we noticed, or like, Erica noticed that I was reading the same book they had started to read.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, well, ask her if she wants to join since she's already kind of like reading the book. Or she like recognized like the titles and everything. So she was like, could be a different book. But and I was like, oh yeah, like I'll join. Like, and I'm reading that book, so that works out. And they're like, oh, bet. What chapter are you on? I'm like, oh, I'm on chapter 29. They're like,
What the fuck?
and they're like, oh, we just started. But everybody else read to this point, and then we'll go meet up this day. They're trying to meet up weekly. Like, but you can FaceTime in, so you don't have to like make the drive to Lafayette all the time.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, that works. And it just so happened that I wanted to go to Lafayette to see my mom, so I was like, I'll be in town. I can join in that day. So.
Was that like the first meeting you guys had? That's cool.
Well, that I had with them, they had met previously, I guess, to discuss like what they wanted from the book club, and then it just kind of like they're starting to read. Everybody was starting to read. Most of them have Kindles like me, except for Nana. I think she's just using the app, but yeah. And then it just turned into Cheese My Club.
Nice. I like a good cheese man club.
We were talking about some cheese man on our walk last night. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me.
It was the same cheese man that you told me from Lafayette. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just telling him.
Yeah, we had a good 10, 15 minutes, and then we're like, want to talk about something else? And then we transitioned to YouTube talk.
Yeah. YouTube talk. I showed him my thumbnail, and he's like, "Can you do that better? Like, can you maybe put this?" I'm like, "Okay, bet."
Yeah. That's what I'm about. He was having trouble with fire pictures and removing the background. I'm like, bro, if you just type in fire PNG or fire transparent, it's super easy.
Literally, I didn't know that, and I was looking up. Okay, first of all, it's basically impossible to get a fire image that's not a PNG or transparent, place it into a PicMonkey or Photoshop, and then completely remove the background of the fire, especially the little small specks or wedges that's in between the fire to make it transparent.
Yeah. And
then when Pablo told me that you could just type in PNG or transparent, I got home after that walk, typed it in, first fucking picture that popped up. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, because I was in the comfiest position over here reading my book. He's like, "Can you come check something?" And I pretend not to hear him. And then, and then he just turns the laptop and is like, I was like, yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know where we're going with this. If we're gonna.
No, I got to figure it out. I got the fire on my soccer ball on my thumbnail.
Yeah,
but a new segment that I really want to incorporate into these episodes is I don't know if we'll have a name for it yet, but essentially it's what's on your side of the internet, because we all have different people we follow. All the internet, our algorithm is all different. So what's something on your side that's been popping off?
On my For You page, or
what shows up on your TikTok, your Instagram, when you're scrolling through, what do you see?
What's the most things you see on Facebook, or in the communities that you're involved in? I don't know if you follow Vampire Diary stuff
or
anything
I usually
like
don't
that.
follow pages like that, just because it can get repetitive, and it's okay, you're just posting the same scenes in different ways.
Yeah.
But I guess One Tree Hill pops up a lot, just because I'm kind of rewatching. I listen to the podcast, so it's all that stuff. And Starbucks. Any coffee drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I do follow some people that make coffee from home, and then I just try and recreate what they create or make my own version of it.
Okay. Do you go to any local coffee shops around town, or you pretty much just stick to Starbucks?
I just been to Starbucks. I know there's some. I want to try some places, but I haven't ventured out yet.
Is that because you're nervous to see if it's even good?
Yeah. I've been wanting to try Big B's coffee for the longest time because I heard it's really good.
I've heard. I used to, the first job I got outside the military, I won't say the name just for because whatever. But one of the other team leads there really loved Big B's coffee.
Yeah.
She really loved it.
I heard it's really good, and they used to not have one. It was only Greenwood or something, and now they have one on 96.
Oh, that's not far from here.
No.
We went to a coffee shop like that once, and we walked in, looked at the menu. We didn't know what any of the things were, so that's why we walked out.
Oh, for real? You didn't just pick something random and see what it was?
No.
We're where's the caramel macchiato? It was all these really fancy coffee terms.
And I was like, I'm too overwhelmed. Let's go. I told them, I'm sorry, I just don't see anything I like. And they're like, okay, bye. I didn't say, oh, got a family emergency.
Yeah.
I took Godin's advice and said, I don't like anything. I'm going to go. Sorry.
Yeah, it's your guys' establishment sucks. I'm out of here.
Your sandwich looks like shit.
Yeah, and there's a couple coffee places I know Godin wants to go to. It's a Bika.
Oh, I do not know.
Bika Cafe.
Oh, I think it's Bika, Bica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they were closed for remodel.
Okay.
So we couldn't go the last time, but maybe our next outing we could go.
Okay.
But so mainly your social media is just filled with how to make different coffees at home.
Or what to order from Starbucks.
Different orders
But they're all super sugary. I used to love high sugar coffee drinks, but now I'm give me all the caffeine.
Now you're more invested in the actual flavor of the coffee. Would you get a French press and get super involved at like home making coffee?
That's my goal. I want to get an espresso machine, different like very tools for it, and of course like a French press and stuff like that. So
like buy your own beans and they like grind your own beans
Yes.
and everything. Oh, that's nuts.
but they're so expensive.
Yeah.
I was on the phone the other day with Mari Cruz, and we were just talking, and we were looking at like the espresso machine. She's like, she saw one for like, I want to say it was like 2K.
2K?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say 200.
No, to like 2K, 200. That's pretty nice. But
$2,000.
But it was like one that you would use at like a coffee shop. It had different like
Okay.
like espresso spouts so that you could have multiple coffees going.
So like something on the cheaper side would be like $800-$900.
It depends. I think there is one that was like $200 something, but you okay?
No, I thought I heard my laptop like buzzing or like
Giving out.
yeah. Let's keep going.
But like I think like the top tier ones are like 500 or plus.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I have heard that the coffee from there is where it's at though.
Yeah.
Like
But
it's just like a day and night difference.
Like think about it. It's like just spend $500 there versus spending like, I mean, what a Starbucks typically $5 to $6
Per cup.
and that's just a single serving. So it's like eventually it's a bang for your buck.
Yeah, like over like a year or so, you know, even buying your own like coffee beans and all that, it'll be cheaper than always going to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Well, you can check out Bankroll Coffee with Graham Stephan. I think he sells his bags for like $5-7 each. He purposely made it to where it was like affordable coffee, but I haven't seen him promote it often, so I don't know if he's still doing it or not.
Or if it's even good.
Or if it's even good, yeah.
Tea. Or coffee.
Has anything changed? Go ahead, babe.
I love like when we're at the store and we pass through the coffee aisle, just smelling the coffee. It's like,
Bro, sometimes if it's too late at night, I avoid coffee smells. Because just a smell triggers something in me and all of a sudden I'm wired up.
You're like,
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
But I was going to say, what's been on your side of the internet, Pablo?
I have not been paying that much attention. I just kind of been mindlessly scrolling whenever I have the chance. But something that has been coming up a lot on my Instagram is just soccer videos.
Oh.
Yeah, just like free kicks and just people taking free kicks and things like that. That's been coming up a lot on my side.
A little going off of that. One of the guys that I follow, babe, his Instagram handle is soccergh. He liked my video yesterday. I
know you told me.
He knows I exist.
You were going off about that, but I was like halfway asleep because you woke me up to go to the room because I fell asleep over here. But yeah, you're like, look, he knows I exist. I'm like, what is his equivalent to?
What is it equivalent to? I don't know. Like maybe Vic liking one of his followers' videos. I would say about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed? You guys hadn't mentioned him in a while. I feel like.
Vic. Yeah, I was about to earlier because he's the one that told me about the PNG thing, about that trick. And he told me back in like NC when I was over there, and I've used it ever since. Shout out, bro.
His daily or weekly shout out from the podcast.
It's almost every episode. Like,
I know.
I feel like this is 71 episodes. And I think we have more episodes that we shout him out than not.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
To be honest.
One thing that's been on my side of the internet, thanks for asking, guys.
It's okay, nobody cared.
Anyways, in other news, what are the questions?
Well, very quickly. I'm very excited for March because...
Attack on Titan.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be so hype.
Oh, you did that? I'm like, where's that from?
Bro, I'm going to buy a whole fucking Scout...
Bro, I thought about
too.
it. Yeah,
I'm not going to, but...
A what?
It's a like coat that they wear, the Scouts. It's got like their sign on it. It's the green coat that you see them wearing. I'm gonna buy the flag with the Scout sign on it. It'll be sick. But I'm so excited, man. Oh, it's good. I'm gonna watch it subbed. I've watched the whole season, the whole series dubbed. But once it comes out, I'm watching it. I want to see it for the first time.
But I saw on Hulu that there's some subbed video or episodes you hadn't watched.
Oh.
Yeah, those are extra episodes that they did. That's like they're just like filler episodes. They were like for fun episodes.
Oh.
But I started watching them and I stopped because they were subbed. I don't know if you watched them yet.
No, I would just watch dubbed.
Well, those episodes correlate with the actual storyline. It's just like bonus episodes. That's why I started watching them, because I'm like, oh shit, I missed out on that.
Okay, something I've been watching is Game of Thrones, which I know by now that's like old news, you know. But I started watching it, and it's really good. I'm about to finish up season 5 out of 8, but
Yeah, I heard it's a really good show, but I'm part of that 1% that hasn't seen it.
Same.
Yeah, I don't think it's really good. It's a lot of story building. It's not as like action packed as you think it would be. It's a lot of story building, and I have heard that the ending sucks. Like the way they wrapped it up sucks. Because apparently from season 1 to season 6 or something like that, the author that the book is based from the book that the series is based on, they stopped asking for her like advice and like help with the storytelling. So the people at HBO just took their own creative liberties. And apparently they fucked it all up. Yeah.
Well, let's get into some Instagram questions.
I'd say that's kind of like in Grey's Anatomy. After a certain season, Shonda Rhimes stopped writing.
Oh.
So it's not like the OG like writer.
Oh.
It's the assistant.
Yeah, we stopped watching. We're like season 8 and we stopped. Because Gaden originally started watching it to be like a lighthearted show that she just kind of watched, that she pumped. And at first it kind of was that. But then it got really intense, bro. Like, super intense. And then we just stopped watching.
But if she wants a lighthearted show, tell her to watch Modern Family. That's a really good
Modern
one.
Family?
Yeah.
We're watching cooking shows.
Again?
Yeah, cooking shows are where it's at, dude.
Yeah, they're really fun. But yeah, let's get into some Instagram questions. The first one, well, shout out to Amelia. She asked a bunch of them. What's your favorite childhood memory, babe?
I don't know. I saw that question. I was like contemplating my childhood. I was like,
You're like, none.
I'm scared. No, I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite. I guess being an only child, I gotta be able to join in a bunch of vacations, mainly like with Amelia's family, because it's like I was like their adopted like daughter. Because for the longest time they didn't have a daughter, so I was just like hanging around until Only came around. But
And
even then,
like, bye, Gabs.
kind of not really. I mean, they took me on my senior year like trip and everything. But I don't know. It's like my second family, but then they're my family, so if that makes any sense. But like Jesse and I have always been like siblings more than cousins in a sense. And James, because him and I, when we were younger, like we couldn't be in the same room. Like we would just fight.
You just throw hands.
Literally, like he'd come at me and I'd go at him, and we didn't get along. I don't know what it was, but we just didn't get along. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess just being with my family.
Family vacations, tagging along.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good perk, not gonna lie. Another question from her. What's one goal you have set for yourself recently?
Figure out what I want to do with my life.
That's a hefty goal.
Yeah. That's really it. Just trying to figure out what I want to do and figure that out. Yeah.
Okay. Nice and simple. This one's from Mighty Cruz. Shout out Mighty Cruz. She said, what's your favorite thing? Sorry, guys. I'm stuttering.
Shut up.
I've been hanging out with Pablo too much. What's your favorite thing about Mari? Haha, JK.
That she's always there.
That's true. But that wasn't the actual question.
I know.
What's your favorite book at the moment?
I guess like my all-time favorite when I was younger was So Be It. But like every book that I've read, it's like, oh, this is my new favorite. Oh, this is my new favorite. So I've had really good reads right now. So I guess like so far my top favorite one, I don't know.
Do you find yourself going back to a certain author all the time?
For a while I was reading a lot of the Colleen Hoover books because that was trending all over. So I was reading a bunch of her books, and her books are really good. Like she does not have like a flop that I've read so far.
Okay.
But I really love the one I'm reading now. It's Things We Never Got Over or something like that.
Is it by Colleen Hoover?
No, it's another author. And I heard this one was really good, and they're coming out with the part 2. But I haven't read what that one's about.
Do you read any scary books?
Yes, I read one that was completely, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I recently read one by, I don't remember, I think it was called I don't remember, but it was like a thriller, it was suspenseful, and I was like, oh my god, what the heck?
There's this girl that I went to high school with who's now an author doing scary books.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
Yes. Hannah or Haley, because she has a twin.
Oh,
one
okay.
of them is, I'm pretty sure one of them is Hannah, the other one is Haley. And I can't remember which one it was, and I honestly cannot remember the last name, so
Okay.
really bad promotion. But she has a page that on Facebook where people follow her, and I liked her page, and she does a bunch of scary books, and I think she has one out right now.
Oh.
Yeah, she did a book signing thing and all of that
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah. What was your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, my favorite childhood memory?
Or just a fond one?
One that I can think of at the moment right now is the moment I learned how to ride a bike.
Falling down to your death.
Falling down to my death. We were at my cousin's house, and at his house, there's a really big hill going down, and I was on the bike, and my dad was behind me pushing me he was teaching me how to ride a bike. I didn't know how to before.
Yeah, and you didn't have any training wheels on.
There's no training wheels on, and we were going down the hill. And looking back at it now, it makes no sense why I thought my dad was still behind me running down the hill.
Bro, just
yeah. But we were going down the hill, and I'm we were a little bit halfway down, and I'm like, Dad, go faster. And I didn't hear him say anything, so I turned back to scream at him. I turned back, and he wasn't there. Or I see him at the top of the hill, and he's like, and I'm just like, oh shit. And then I lost balance and crashed onto the curb and landed on the grass. Oh. So essentially, I didn't learn how to ride my bike then, but I learned how to balance it on 2 wheels.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of learned. It's just because you thought you had the security net of dad holding you. As soon as you realized he wasn't there, then you just lost control.
Because I guarantee you, all he did was push me down the hill. He didn't go down that far. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. That's probably exactly what he did.
Because, think about it, looking back at it now, there's no way he was running down the hill with me. That was going pretty fast.
Were you pedaling or just rolling?
I think I was just rolling. I was just holding. At the beginning, I was pedaling, but then once I started getting fast, I just let.
You had to put your feet up, so that was stabilization.
What do you mean?
Because you couldn't just keep your feet there. You'd have.
No, there's some bikes where you don't move the pedals and it still goes.
But I thought those were the bigger bikes, not the littler bikes.
Little kid bikes? I don't know, because you're right, because some of the younger, the little kid bikes, even if you're, holding it and you push it, the pedals move.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you're right. I think I might have moved my feet then. I don't remember directly.
Maybe if you were just there and the pedals were doing the work.
Yeah. What was your favorite childhood memory?
Well, I don't like Gabby, so I don't think I have a favorite, but one that I'm very fond of is whenever Dad would help us beat video games.
And now it's the opposite.
Now it's the opposite way around. Yeah, Andy's over here getting brownie points just by beating Zelda bosses for Dad. But one that I remember is we had this Tarzan game, and yeah, dude, and you would have to fight crocodiles. And they would chomp on you, and you had to spam the A button to slowly break open. And no matter how fast I did it, I couldn't get it. And Wedo sometimes would get it, but then my dad would come and just go,
yeah,
and he would get it instantly.
I remember that part of that game was so hard.
Yeah, and that's just a memory that I have engraved that every 4 or 5 months it just pops back into my head. Yeah.
That's a good one, because it would be a really nice relief for him to just show up and just beat the level that we couldn't beat. But at the same time, it kind of pissed me off because I'm I could have beat it, but I couldn't because I needed his help. But another question from your mama, shout out. Would you rather sleep or work out?
Sleep.
I knew the answer to that one. What about you, Pablo?
Sleep, to be honest.
Honestly, I'd rather work out.
Okay.
Oh, God. Okay, another one from Amelia. Would you rather be doing I thought I said homework. Would you rather be doing housework or the podcast?
Housework.
Dang.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was like literally
Offended.
when I came back, she was like about time, you know, like she was like
Yeah,
ready to
yeah.
be
It
off
makes
the
sense.
podcast.
That's okay. This isn't your podcast, anyways. Okay, another one
Kept
from
it
my.
going,
You did. I'm just looking at the one that you sent me. You said that I need to buy you a beanbag.
Wait, you put your own question up there?
It's more of a statement.
Yeah, because usually when I'm here editing at night, she's over there in that corner with all the lights on, and I told her I'd buy her a beanbag. So instead of just laying on the floor, she's sitting down on a beanbag. So it's coming. It's coming. I got a question from Monica. Shout out. That's Gabby's cousin. What is your proudest accomplishment?
Dang. Do I have to go first?
Well, this is a question for you.
But you guys been answering all of them too, so.
Well, not all of them. I just want to know the chocolate one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cause like when I graduated college, like I thought that was gonna be like my biggest sense of accomplishment, but then COVID happened, so it's just like, oh, I'm done. And that was
Oh,
it.
you never had like a big graduation?
No, they can't. Like they had a ceremony, but they said no family could go, and I didn't see a reason to go just to walk across the stage and not have anybody there.
Right. Like the whole idea is to have family there.
So, I don't know. I
Oh, shit.
don't know. Proudest moment, I guess, graduating in a sense, but like I didn't really like celebrate it.
You didn't really get to enjoy it, but it's like your proudest moment.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Another one from her. If you could travel to any year in a time machine, what year are you choosing and why?
Any time in my childhood, really, if I can just go back and relive one of those days of us just being together, because we never knew when our last time playing like kickball or like at the duplexes, being in front of like those thingies,
Yeah.
like
The hangout spot.
the hangout spot when you were younger, like
I think it's
the
like
furnace thingies. I don't know.
The porch?
No,
it's like in front of like apartments. There's like a red pole and then like a big
ours were green.
green
What?
or red or whatever. Bro, we hung out at them before. It's like not the AC units, but Gaby's looking it up right now because I can't explain it. Yeah, like
it was a red pole.
No, not a red pole. Oops.
like an orange one or something. But like it wasn't just a pole. It was also like a that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, isn't those are like the outside AC units, right? Like if that controls everything?
Yeah. But
So,
like,
I guess those were
Hanging out
hangout spots, huh?
yeah, like that's like you see those memes, like the hangout spot, like just being like together and dumb and goofy and not worrying about anything.
That's a good one. We've got 2 more questions. This one is from Vic. Shout out Vic.
that's dope.
I think this question is specifically for us two, but he said where the baby's at.
What?
She's over. Garden's taking care of her right now.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Inside me of it, probably. Not like
Okay.
a full baby, but like
What?
eggs. I have eggs inside me, and he has the other
The
half.
spermies.
The spermies.
Yeah.
Yeah, to really answer that question, it's just a matter of
What I want to do with my life and when the babies fit into that. Because I was talking to God, and I was like, not that Vale scared me, but she kind of scared me.
It's okay. There's no same exchange. She's scared of you.
I'm just like, oh, this has a lot of work. Like, you think
Yeah.
about a baby, and you're like, oh, it's fine. It'll work out. But it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Well, like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But like, I don't know. It's like we're talking. I was like, I know life doesn't get easier. It's just like, when do I want it to be harder? Like when, like something like
when
that.
you want it to be that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because, like, for example, for me, obviously, like, this time last year, Gaden and I decided, all right, we're going to try for a baby. And we're like, all right, cool. In these next couple weeks, we're going to figure out when her fertile window is and, like, really try for a baby. But if I know what life is like now, I would probably go back and be like, yo, calm down your baby fever. It's okay to wait, like, get more, like, success, get more, like, more rooted in what you're doing instead of still being on the grind to like figure out what you want to do before having her. Now, granted, it's like you can look at it both ways. Like I see having her as like it's been good, and I'm like realizing what I want to do, and it makes me use my time wisely, and just it really solidified the fact that I'm like, okay, podcasting is what I want to do, and I'm getting my degree to make sure I have a good backup plan, because I don't think there's anything wrong with having a couple different plans just in case something goes off the rails, right? But I think it's good that having Vale kind of put it into perspective for you guys.
Yeah, because I like for the longest time I really thought we'd have the kid first and not you guys.
Yeah, dude, we did too.
But because like I know Karen's like, when you're having kids, let us know and then we'll figure it out if it's ready. It was time for us.
That way, huh? It's like once you guys have kids.
Yeah,
and I was like,
so
okay.
So they can try to have cousins growing up. Yeah, I think Vale's gonna grow up not really having cousins her age.
I mean,
unless like Jamie.
I don't think. I mean, anything could happen, but Jamie doesn't really seem like he's down that road yet.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, the only cousins that I would be able to, she'd be able to have is like our baby and maybe Andy and Alma's baby, but I don't know their situation.
I mean, she'll have Ava, but Ava's gonna be like a teenager by the time she's older.
Yeah. So
I mean, tops, I give it 3 years for us if I haven't figured out what I want to do.
So, like, essentially, it might be, like, the age difference between me and you or you and Becca.
Yeah.
So, like, close, but, like, she's going to still be, like, the parental, like, I'm in charge.
Yeah, which is fine. It just, I think, hopefully she can make friends around her age. Because I was talking to Valentine, you know how, like, last year for Ava's party, how it was literally all the adults, and for her party, we went to a sushi spot for a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this year, he said that they rented out, like, a gymnasium, and she had a bunch of her friends go.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was like, this year was more, like, of a kid-oriented
That's
party.
why we weren't invited. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like, are we not doing anything for Ava's birthday? Like...
Because we usually do things for, like, our birthdays. But, I mean, I guess it makes sense that, like, a kid's party, she's going to want her friends there and not, like, her grown-up friends.
Valentine said, like, as long as we do something, like, she's happy.
Yeah.
Like, it was super, like, malleable in that way. But last year, she didn't have very many friends. And this year, she does.
That's good.
So, there's a difference there.
Yeah. Okay, so last question from...
Oh, wait, hold on. Vic, where the babies at?
Literally.
Oh, yeah.
I'm turning this on you, bro.
Question to you, bro. Where the babies at? We want to see some jacked ass babies.
I know. They're going to have some good genetics.
Bro, that baby's going to come out fucking chiseled.
Yeah. Well, that baby's going to come out doing a lat spread.
I just coming out, he's just like, oh.
Yeah. Be like, no, nurse, I got this. I'll push myself out. Imagine. In no disrespectful way, but your babies are gonna have good genetics.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's funny as fuck. The baby literally births himself or herself.
Yeah. I'm gonna send him this part of the podcast. It's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question for Mighty Cruz. What makes you feel inspired or motivated?
I guess passion. Like, if I have there's passion there, then it's easy to be motivated. Like I think I've said this a couple of times. Like the gym, like. Yeah, it's a passion for me to stay healthy, but kind of doing the bare minimum is getting me through right now. And, like, reading, I'll just, if it's gym or sit down and read, I'm going to read. But then I can infuse both. Like, I'll read while on the treadmill or stuff like that. Like, it's, at first it was really hard because it's, like, bump, bump, bump. But, like, I don't know, I got used to it. So, it's like, you watch a show, I guess that's easier because people are moving anyways. But, I don't know, it's like, if I have a passion for it, I'm going to go for it. So that's my inspiration, I guess.
Nice.
And I think it's cool that you're going in, like, medical-related stuff. Because it's, like, a lot of people, especially in the culture of the U.S., it's very, like, if you're not starting your own business, you're failing. But that's not true at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to have your own business, why the fuck are you going to open your own business, you know? If you want to be a nurse, go be a nurse. If you want to be a CEO, go be a CEO. You know, like, there's no... I feel like sometimes people shame others for having a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
When it doesn't really matter. Like, if you want to have a 9-to-5 that works well for you, pays your bills, and you're passionate while you're at work, then why does it matter that you have a 9-to-5?
Right.
Yeah, there's some people that just think entrepreneurship is the only way.
And, like, that works for some people, but if I can clock out and just not worry about it, then that's what I'm going to do. Like,
Right.
It's still in the back of my mind, but it's not, like, sitting heavy because it's all on me.
Right. And then it gives you time to read books. That's something that, like, a hobby of yours that you really enjoy.
And it just depends on the person, because, like, that's what you want to do. And, like, there's other people that, like, would love to think about work, like, all day. Like, I think about, like, my 9 to 5 all day, but, like, as far as, like, YouTube and everything, I'm thinking about that, like, 24/7, even at work.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, depends on, like, your
route
and, like, what you want to do and what you're passionate about.
Yeah, I got really good at disconnecting from my job. And then, like, but I always think about, like, YouTube and school. But I got good at, once I clock out, that's it. Like, I almost kind of immediately shut it off.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
don't want to think
you
about
forget
work.
you have a job.
Yeah, exactly. But I was nervous to ask you the question about the social media because I know you do a lot of reading.
Oh, yeah.
And normally, like, if you're just here, you're like, I've never really seen you just scroll on your phone. If anything, I see you just read on your Kindle. So I was nervous for you to be like, I don't use social media.
She's like, this doesn't work, actually. I only text people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go through phases. Like, sometimes, like, I'll just be, like, watching TV all the time, or I'm, like, I went through, like, a couple, like, weeks where I hadn't touched my Kindle. I'm surprised it didn't die, but it was still the Kindle battery. It's really nice, but, like, I hadn't touched it in, like, 3 weeks. Especially when we moved, I wasn't reading, like, a lot. I did at your place, just because Godin was also reading, so it's, like, we both just kind of did that. But I felt like I couldn't really, like, sit still at Valampitas because I felt like they were always moving at 100 miles per hour, doing schoolwork, doing this, doing that. I was like, how do I stay busy?
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
But, yeah.
Cool. Well, I like that you're, like, trying to figure out where you want to go in life. I know that's kind of hard at first to do all that stuff. And I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for hosting the podcast with Leto for like a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
It was a very integral part to the podcast for it to survive.
If it wasn't for that, they'd be stuck listening to me talking to myself for an hour.
Yeah. You would have made those like 20-minute episodes.
Honestly, I probably would have.
Yeah.
Just answering questions if you're like, okay, that was it, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know this is what they want to do, so if I could help like keep it going, like I'll help out like however I can. Like, say he's sick, but like you and Gaby don't want to record together because then for whatever reason she wants to be home. Like it could be just us two. Like anything to keep it going to help you guys reach where you guys want to go.
And the cool thing is that Gaby has mentioned the same thing to be like if I can step in whenever, if need be. But yeah, thank you for coming on. Hope you have a safe drive home. I know it's a long way home.
I know.
And,
it's starting to get dark, so I better hurry.
Yeah. And thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. And honestly, I hope you're really enjoying this new audio experience because we're enjoying it just hearing ourselves talk. So stay tuned for the next episode and have a good day.
Peace.